In Canada, the housing crisis did not begin by accident. It began with a transfer of responsibility, and then another, until no level of government could actually solve it. In the early 1990s, the federal government stepped back. Under the Liberal Party of Canada, led by Prime Minister Jean Chrétien, Ottawa stopped funding new public housing projects. Canada didn't sell housing at the federal level. It simply stopped building it. The responsibility was handed to the provinces. That decision mattered because housing had never been a small program. It required long timelines, stable funding, and a national commitment. That commitment ended quietly in the mid-1990s. Then came the second transfer. In Ontario, under the Progressive Conservative Party of Ontario, Premier Mike Harris made a historic move. Social housing was downloaded from the province to municipalities. Thousands of units, aging buildings, long-term tenants, massive repair obligations. Cities were given the bill without the revenue tools. Municipalities cannot run deficits. They cannot raise income taxes. They do not control land or construction at scale. And yet, they were now responsible for housing tens of thousands of people. Cities did what they could, but what they could do was limited. They created housing corporations like Toronto Community Housing to manage risk. They deferred maintenance to keep budgets balanced. They stopped building because they simply couldn't afford to. They sold properties, redeveloped land, and partnered with private developers, not by ideology, but by necessity. Over time, public housing was no longer a guaranteed buffer. It became a rationed resource. Waiting lists grew, buildings aged, affordability narrowed. By the time later governments, including Liberal and NDP administrations, returned to the issue, the damage was already locked in. Land was gone, construction costs had doubled, public expertise had eroded. The hardest truth is this: municipalities didn't fail because they didn't care. They failed because they were never designed to succeed at this scale. Housing had been transformed from a national responsibility into a local emergency, managed with property taxes. And that is how a country loses its housing buffer without ever voting to remove it. No single government caused this crisis, but multiple governments transferred responsibility until no one could carry it. That is the story we rarely tell, and it's the story behind the crisis we live with today.